Some of the year's shows confronted tough issues head-on, some were suitling snapshots of human existence. Much like this summer's solar eclipse, some things hurt to look at directly. There were times when the world felt like that in 2017, and art acted as a soothing intermediary between us, the audience, and the pressing global and social issues on our minds. The best theatre productions of 2017 sometimes confronted those issues directly, such as global warming, indigenous relations with the rest of Canada, gender inequality, or the intersection of racism and sexism, and even how that applies to classical theatre. Others offered suitling snapshots of human existence, wondrously stylized technical wizardry at the joy of a pure, charismatic performance. Either way, these are the productions we loved this year, in chronological order. We agreed on 9 and each of us chose our own wildcard favorite, making our top 10 actually a top 11. Each production, in its own way, made it easier for us to get through 2017. John the Company Theatre's production of Annie Baker's play, directed by Jonathan Goad, the Toronto debut for the highly acclaimed American playwright, arrived early in 2017 and set the bar high for anything that followed. Baker's tchotchke-filled B. The last two parts in particular, played by Nancy Beattie and Nora McClellan, proved why it's such a shame so few meaty parts for older women actors are seen on stage. Article continued below. True crime. In this super cool, twisty-turny solo show, musician, actor Torquil Campbell staged his obsession with the German-born con man Christian Gerhardsreiter, keeping the audience guessing about which of his claims we could really believe. If you missed it the first time, Chris Abraham's stylish production revisits Streetcar Crow's Nest from January 16 to 20 before runs in Calgary and Victoria. 887 The Master at Work. This unforgettable solo production is Quebecois auteur Robert Lepage's meditation on the power and instability of memory, flashing back to his experience of the Quiet Revolution and forward to the present day, combining mordant wit and surprising self-revelation with breathtaking design. Globe-trotting since 2015, the production visits the National Arts Centre in Ottawa in January. Prince Hamlet. To celebrate the 10th anniversary of his company Why Not Theatre, Ravi Jain continued his streak of being one of the most interesting theatrical minds in Toronto by blowing up what we thought a production of Hamlet could look or sound like. Casting across gender, racial and ability lines, rearranging the script and even translating pieces into American Sign Language, performed by Dorniani Burley as Horatio, who won a Toronto Theatre Critics Award, made this Hamlet the year's favourite Shakespeare for coloured girls. This welcome revival of Tazake Shang's 1970s choreo poem for coloured girls who have considered suicide when the rainbow is enough blasted soul pepper theatre with the passionate, hilarious, angry voices of black women. Janet Ayer's stripped-back production focused attention on Shang's varied text and 7 galvanic performers. While Soul Pepper has a long way to go in terms of diversity and casting, this production proved that opening up the repertoire brings in an audience that really looks like Toronto. Bacchae 2017 was the year that intimacy direction became a well-known practice in Canadian theatre, and Gillian Kiley's production of Bacchae by Euripides, in an adaptation by Greek scholar and poet Anne Carson, at the Stratford Festival was a leader. That's why its portrayal of sexuality, as ecstatic, violent, impotent and transformational acts, felt so impactful. Few performances have been so gutting, enjoyable and frightening as Mac Fife as Dionysus, so rapturous and tragic as Lucy Peacock as Agave, and so simultaneously enraging and sympathetic as Gordon S. Miller as the doomed King Pentheus. Middletown. Perhaps no other production this year felt as calm and confident as the Shaw Festival's version of Middletown by Will Eno, directed by Meg Rowe. Presenting a snapshot of a small town in America, Eno's play manages to span from the beginning of life to its end, from beneath the earth into the atmosphere, and the Shaw's ensemble guided the play to its lengths with simplicity, empathy, beauty and just enough absurdity. Tough. From the second time this year, director Chris Abraham proved he knows his way around a con game, infusing Moliere's classic satire of hypocrisy with Trumpian references, and orchestrating hilarious performances from a stacked Stratford Festival cast led by the sublime Tom Rooney. Standing ovations are a dime a dozen in GTA Theatre, but the one for this show and opening night was a genuine, shared celebration of the joy theatre can bring. Kianalik. These sharp tools, this Buddies in Bad Times production directed by Erin Brubaker was like nothing else on a Toronto stage this year, a combination of storytelling, song and audience interaction in which Inuit performer, storyteller Leakalak Williamson Bathory and queer theatre artist Evelyn Parry shared the personal stories and respective cultures. Real ice, painted a mottled black, bordered the stage. The image of it slowly melting both underlined the production's cautionary message about climate change and summed up the show's effect, a slow, cool burn. Wild Cards. The Orange Sean Dixon's play about two city workers on a job site blew out into an archetypal battle of the sexes in ways I found somewhat implausible when I reviewed Vicky Anderson's world premiere theaterfront production at Streetcar Crow's Nest in March. Looked at from the tail end of this momentous year for gender relations, Dixon comes off like a soothsayer, from his finely nuanced observation of male-female interaction to a gory ending that is part triumph, part tragedy of wronged, vengeful women. Karen Fraker. Life after the Fringe Festival pipeline to funnel new musicals into the mainstream continued this year with this work from writer, lyricist and composer Britta Johnson, about a teenage girl grieving her self-help guru father. If Come From Away was the blockbuster hit south of the border to give Canadian musical theatre a boost in interest, we're more than happy to have artists like Johnson reap the benefits. Carly Maga.